Welcome, everybody, to the Raad Life, the only talk radio show that takes you along with host and age explorer Rod Gantos on his continuing journey of discovery into life's challenges, opportunities, options, and all the latest and greatest things that come with getting older. The Raad Life is brought to you this week by Your Home for a Lifetime, a company dedicated to empowering you to stay safely, independently, and comfortably in your own home. And now here is your host, Rad Gantos.
Man, I feel like I'm getting away with something here, you know? I feel like my guest should be actually sitting in this seat.
You know what I feel like? I feel like we're watching the Titans of radio.
The Titans of radio. Wow, really?
That's a new title.
I think we need a poster. I'd like a little boxing poster or
The
something.
Titans of radio. Well, welcome your guest today, Bart Zanbergen, who also hosts the Zanbergen Report on Wealth Management here.
When is your show?
It is on Tuesdays, 2 o'clock.
On the same station.
Same station.
Same bad
right
channel.
Here.
That's
Same
right.
bad channel.
Right.
Exactly.
And it's a great show. When did you start? You just started like recently, right?
8 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's it been?
So great. It took some time to kind of find my groove, but I'm feeling really good about it.
Yeah, well, you know, Paul being in the room doesn't help.
I
Did you hear that, Paul?
Oh, wow.
I know.
You know, I'm going to take that today because anybody's tuning into our YouTube channel will see two of the style icons here in Orange County. I'm telling you, they put the exclamation point in the word style here, and I feel so...
I actually felt intimidated today coming in. to
Did
be
you?
honest.
Well, you
yeah,
should
I looked
be.
through my bespoke and I'm going, nah, you know what? Yeah, I'm not going to even go there. And then it was raining, so I said, hey, I got a bespoke I could wear.
Well, I'll tell you what's funny, and I said this to both of you offline. So Rad last week had the people from Bespoke Custom Tailoring in here. And
Our boy Brandon Moody was in the studio.
exactly,
last night.
and Mr. Cool, and Mr. Hip, and all this kind of stuff.
And you
with
asked
the
him how
dreadlock.
long has he been like trendy and hip, and he
Yeah.
gave you a good answer, didn't he?
What was his answer?
His was like, yeah, I mean, I
Born this
expected
way.
Brandon. Yeah, exactly, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
And you know Brandon,
Yeah.
right? So he pretty much just chilled out, sat back. B, if you're listening, great show last week, but just hanging out. And he goes, yeah, no, I've kind of always been like this. Like I think he was born with.
So at the
dreads,
end of the show, we go off air, and everybody, he's there, and somebody of the other crew, and Rad's all dressed up with his custom jacket, and I'm here with my khakis and T-shirt on here, my normal,
I'm gonna
post
have to get him a
college
bespoke
outfit
T-shirt
here.
at least, right?
Something,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's a little underdressed.
So I say to him, I think to him, I'm always trying to match people up and help people. I say, gee, I just meet I don't see many people come in dressed up anymore into this studio. You guys are one of the few, and Brandon was one of the few. So I mentioned to him casually, I said, I don't know if this will help you or not, but gee, there's a guy who comes and does a show here who's equally well-dressed, equally into fashion.
Yeah.
You might want to meet him. And he starts laughing, and they all start laughing. They go, we know each other. I'm like, this is, of course, you guys are the most hip-dressed people. You all know each other in Orange County. Here.
Boys
You're
of Bespoke.
part of a
tribe.
tribe, yeah.
Yeah, part of the tribe. So with that being said, and people are going, why is Paul out of all people talking about fashion and style?
Yes.
That's right.
Right. But that's why we keep him off camera because
That's right.
at least you can the voice you can handle.
I don't
The rest
frighten
of
the
it, I don't think
Yeah.
you can do.
I don't
with
frighten the
voice.
children that way.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've been doing this show for 3 years. Bart's been doing his for about 8 months, and we both
8
went-
weeks.
Oh,
8
sorry, 8
weeks.
weeks.
Yeah,
8
so-
weeks, and we went through
He's a newbie.
The same thing. No, man, but it takes that time.
Yeah, it does for sure.
Yeah.
That'll ramp up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Learning curve.
you were actually. I've been kind of stalking you. You were kind of good about third show.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, you're like
Yeah.
because it's a little bit unnerving the first time
Yeah, for
around.
sure.
Right? You got a mic
Yeah.
in your face and
Yeah.
these stupid things on your head and Paul speaking in your ear.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And originally I was under the impression it wasn't live, so I thought, no, it's cool. We'll have
Oh, you're
ads.
recording?
We'll
Yeah,
just
we're
fix it.
recording. And only 2 weeks ago did I find out we were video recorded. All this time,
He didn't even know. We didn't want to tell him. Yeah, exactly.
So I do want to give a shout out to Paul because even though people are watching today or watching Bart's show, it is live.
yeah.
But we do get it edited. And we do put it up on podcasts, and that's the edited version,
We
right?
polish it
So
a bit.
sometimes we polish
Polish
a little bit, a few
yeah.
things. But, I think once you get it's like riding a bicycle. After a while, if you've got it in you, I know you do. I mean, when I saw you doing the show, I was like, okay, yeah, this is a natural extension here, right? But why we have actually Bart here today and why we had Brandon in last week is because I decided to keep it kind of the premise of the show is it's a journey of aging. And
What? We never talk about aging.
Yeah, we do talk about aging. We're aging in by the minute here, but it's a journey of aging, and it's about what you encounter in life and how things change and things of interest that you have as you get older and your prospective on things changes and your attitude changes. And one of the things that happened to me about the same time I started the show was that I actually got tapped by Dave Welsh, who said, you got the social media presence, I want you to be an ambassador. And I said, what does that entail? And he goes, well, here's what it entails. And then he turns around and told us all to basically walk runway at Pelican Hills, right? And we were like sequestered in the bathroom for 3 hours.
That's right.
Yeah. So out of that experience, I met a really great group of guys and women that all in their own rights basically have their own style. And I'm not talking just clothes, but their whole attitude, their whole approach. And some of them own their own businesses. Some of them are executives in other businesses. Some of them just are pursuit of passion and different things, you know. And I really wanted to take a segment. I do this every week, like you do, and I want to take one segment a month and actually bring those people to the forefront and say, you know what, this is part of my journey of aging. These are people that I actually feel really honored to have encountered, to consider my friends,
Your tribe.
to be part of that tribe, and I wanted to basically share that platform. So it was interesting because you and I had talked right before, and then you did your show, and I'm like, okay, that's it, you're coming in, that's it. So, and you, my friend, have a lot to share, and I do want to just give a shout out really quick to Dave Welch, bespokestyle.com. And we will do the little ad for them. We're working on an automated ad thing for them in the middle of the show, but we'll do the ad in the middle of the show. Your show's amazing, man.
Oh,
I mean, seriously, your guests have been great. It's been a wealth of knowledge. And I think for some people there's a sense of intimidation from, you know, maybe who are not in the practice of seeking advice from a financial planner or planning for retirement, and it's scary as heck. We were just talking before the show about people who, you know, we have an aging population in Orange County, and people are outliving their savings in many cases, and unless they've actually done the planning and very much planned for that, they're finding themselves in a very difficult situation.
It happens.
Right?
Why are you guys looking at me? Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I gave up on you, man. I brought you people in here for 3 years talking about how you should prepare for getting older.
Yeah.
And every time I ask you, you say you haven't done any of it.
Hum, 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 hum,
Hum, hum, hum, hum, hum, hum.
I got my...
Yeah. So don't expect them to be like calling you or doing anything. Right?
Yeah.
But let's talk about that, right? I mean, we live in a pretty affluent society, affluent community. We have people that are middle class. We have the whole range, but we have a big concentration of people that are either retiring or have lived here long enough and have lived in their own homes. You know, they bought them probably for like, I don't know, $300,000. Now they're over $1 million, right? Yeah. And they find themselves where they're aging longer, they're healthier, they're still active. They may have retired, they may have not. Maybe they're doing an encore career, right?
Yeah.
They have the ability to do for that for sure. And they have these realities that their parents never encountered. So do you come across that in what you do?
You know, I get all types, and certainly that's a part or a group of people that might come in.
Okay.
Yeah, and so everyone's a little bit different. Every situation's a little bit different. So we have to analyze it and figure out.
You actually provide bespoke services to your clients.
Oh, that's where we work that in.
Nice tie-in.
Yeah. So let's give people the website. Paul gave the shout out for the radio show, but give the people the website. How do people find out about you?
Yeah. So I have my own website, which is bartzanbergen.com.
Yeah.
And Paul makes me spell that out.
Go ahead. So spell it out.
B-A-R-T. That's the hard part. Z as in zebra.
He is good. He's getting really comfortable with this.
ANDBERGEN.com. But of course, my business website is optivestinc.com.
You might want to spell that one for
O-P-T-I-V as in Victor, E-S-T, Inc.com.
Cool. And what are the services that you provide?
So we are basically an independent registered investment advisory firm known as an RIA, and we're a multi-family office, meaning we have families come to us, typically higher net worth, and we handle basically the quarterback of all aspects of their financial life. We're compensated primarily on their money management. We do that in-house. We can handle any risk management or insurance needs, but we also coordinate any of the tax planning, any of the estate planning. Retirement planning is something we do in-house. That's a big part of our financial plan, and I know it's something that overlaps a lot with your kind of mind thought.
Well, we'll touch on that because I think you know, primary assets being homes, that's something that definitely comes into play. How long have you been doing this?
This is my 26th year.
Wow.
Yeah.
No rookie there.
No rookie.
And how did you get into it, Bart? Was
So
it something you actually like consciously pursued, or
yeah, eventually. So I started my career out of school as computer programmer,
Uh-huh.
right, with my management information systems
Uh-huh.
degree. Programmed computers for a year at a big aerospace firm. Like, I don't like this. Went to another firm, did it for a couple of years. Like, it's not the company. I just don't really
It's
like
the
what
field.
I'm doing.
yeah?
So the next kind of logical step up, I still kind of like technology. Technology back, this is now 30 years ago, a little bit different than technology today. I got
Okay, you're in good company in this room.
yeah. So computer system sales.
Yeah.
And what's relevant about that is became really successful, right? And because I was becoming successful and I had a financial mind, like I need a financial advisor. A guy I had met at the gym, we became close friends. He became my financial advisor, and he was really good, still as good at what he does. And we were doing one of our review meetings, and we were like talking about goals. And I said, you know what, making great money, feel good about that, but and this may come across as corny, but I'm telling you, that's the truth. Like, I really feel, and this time I'm like 30. I'm not changing lives. I want to do something. I want a career where I can actually change lives. And he said, this is a great financial services. He goes, think about it. What I'm doing here, what you could do, you should consider that. So I did. And like most of my big decisions, they don't happen overnight. I'm a little more pensive than that. So thought about it. It took probably a couple of months. And like, again, the biggest decisions I've ever made in my life, like maybe 3 or 4 of the biggest, I have this epiphany. I get up at 2 a.m, just wide-eyed, sit up, and I'm like, I know what I got to do. So
That's how he started the radio show. He woke up one night. And
that's one of the 4 big decisions.
That's right.
Not really.
He likes to think so.
So then it became a process, right? At that time, I had 2 kids. I had a home, a mortgage, and what I was looking to do was walk away from a high-paying, high-salaried, with benefits job to basically you're on your own, man.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
On your own. So it took about 8 months to kind of set up working during the day, getting licensed at night, and then transitioning over.
So what was it just this deep-rooted dissatisfaction, or maybe the word isn't really dissatisfaction, but like there's an emptiness that's not being fulfilled by doing what you were doing, and you needed that part of you fed as well?
Yeah, definitely the latter. Just an emptiness.
Yeah.
Just I needed something. Money was fine, but there's more. We'll find out there's more to life than money.
Absolutely.
I have nothing against money, but there's, I do what I do for
And we talk about it
fulfillment.
all the time in the show, particularly this show, because we talk about encore careers a lot. This is an encore career for me after 20 years in public relations and whatnot, and 10 years in radio prior to that. I wonder always how people react when you walk in the door and say, honey, friends, mom and dad, whoever it is, I'm going to do something wild and jump off into the unknown here.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Most people don't say yippee.
No, it's funny when you talk about that epiphany in that moment, that kind of not necessarily an aha moment, but there's sort of a moment of clarity almost, right? And it hits you when it hits you,
Right.
right? And it could be exactly at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. It could be like in the middle of something completely stupid and unrelated, and boom, see something and it triggers it. I've been there, man. I woke up yesterday and I had this hunger to basically write something about just dreamers, and how basically, and I did. I put something out there basically that, society, not necessarily maliciously, will try to not grind you, but try to redirect you. And when you do something like that, that's sort of a little bit unnerving for some people, maybe a little bit off on a tangent, you're listening kind of to your own drum, loud or not, if you really develop that sense of hearing it or not yet. But there are moments where that is the case, and those are life-shaping moments, whether you pursue that or don't pursue it. And in your case, like you said, you took 2 months, so you had to go through your own journey of getting there. Right. You had to filter it through your own whatever, and even after that period of time, you still transitioned by basically getting your certification and licensing while you were doing this, right? So the risk factor, if you really look at it as being, he just jumped off the cliff. He didn't jump off the cliff. He actually transitioned.
It was a transition, but it was even longer than that. It took literally, I'll share this with you, it literally took 5 years to get the income level back up to where I was, because I started from an income to zero that I had to build client by client by client. At the time, there was, unless you went to work for an insurance company, which I did not want to do, I wanted to be an advisor planner. There's no
What years are we talking about, Bart?
92.
Okay, so 91, 92 was not a pretty picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a down economy.
Yeah.
The real estate market crashed. in Orange
So
County.
but yes and no. So right after that, so 92, 93, it's really interesting because and that was probably further subject, but
Yeah.
the investment allocation world was completely different then.
Uh-huh.
It was pretty easy to be an advisor then.
Yeah.
80% stocks, 20% bonds. If you didn't get double digit, if you didn't get 20% returns, you probably got fired.
Yeah.
So the real, kind of the next hit was the year 2000, 2001. So 8 years, like, I picked the best career in the world. This is easy. Clients love me. It's easy to make money. And then wham, right? And then, of course, we had 2008, 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And so the whole landscape of our industry and how we invest in new investment options to get other than stocks and bonds, and
Right.
which is the situation we're in right now.
Well, exactly. With the new tax code, I mean, that's a completely different ballgame now.
Yeah.
And has it changed the way your clients now look at you and what you do?
It's a very good question.
Because in those days,
Or expectations.
yeah,
from your clients.
exactly. And they would hand you the money and say, okay, I'm going to get
Yeah.
20%. He's a great guy. And if he doesn't do it, I'll go find somebody else. But I was pretty much hands off. And now all of a sudden I find I have to be much more hands on, because if there is another great downturn at 60, I can't wait 20 more years for it to recover here.
Yeah, so our biggest job is at least mine recently, has been more of counselor therapist.
Right.
And part of that is resetting expectations. And a lot of my clients have been with me for 20 years or more, so they've seen the ups, they've seen the downs, and the resetting of expectations, where in the 90s it was 20% a year.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, expectations now are, hey, if you can just get me 4 to 6% on a
crazy?
consistent
Crazy.
basis.
Yeah.
How different is that from 25 years
crazy.
ago?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they're happy if I get a 4 to 6%, and actually, believe it or not, that's actually considered a good return. And if you factor in down 30 on the general market, not
Yeah, yeah.
a managed portfolio.
No, it's a totally different world. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're getting 4%, you're like, I'm good.
Yeah, right. Just don't lose my money.
Don't just lose
Just
my
don't
money.
lose my
Right.
money.
Yeah.
Exactly, because I don't know. I don't have the time to make it back again.
Yeah, and there's a couple of big lessons I've learned over my career. One of the biggest is pretty much to that point, the emotions that one feels for gaining money.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you got me. Let's say like last. Hey, you got me 20%. Thanks, Bart. That's really good. Slap on the back. Hey, if I lose you 5%, they lose their marbles.
End of the world.
So the feeling, my point is, the feeling of loss is so much greater exponentially greater than the feeling of elation from gain.
Mm-hmm.
So my first with anyone is like, I'm going to do whatever I can never to lose money.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it doesn't happen. I can't say that.
Right.
But my goal is not to lose money, and I'll get you as much gain as we can without having to lose money.
So what do you there's no way of taking the emotionality out of it, right?
No, not at all.
Right. And it's different for every person.
Yeah, every single person has a different, and I manage $1 million accounts. I imagine $20 million accounts,
Yeah.
and some of the emotions are the same, some are different. It's everyone's just different.
Somebody said on one of our other investment shows that investing is unlike any other business or money-making activity that you can imagine, because your brain tells you it's also emotional. Your brain tells you to jump in at exactly the wrong time and pull out at exactly the wrong time, which is things are going good, everybody wants to jump in, and things go bad, everybody wants to pull out.
That's the total emotional investing emotional cycle, and it's exactly that. And that's why Warren Buffett says, "Be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy." So
exactly.
when the masses are doing one thing, that's when you want to do the other.
Yeah, there's definitely something to be said about that contrarian behavior,
Yeah.
for sure. And you hear about all success stories, but you also hear about a lot of failures.
Of course.
Right? So we
Yeah.
don't get a lot of coverage usually on those. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Just in general. I mean, not even just with investment. I find it fascinating the longer that I'm around that there's this onus of success. There's this onus of people that do things differently. There's this onus of people that kind of just march to their own drummer, right? But at the same time, there's this fear of doing it. It's fascinating. It's like the person shows up wearing something different, or the person who basically is telling you to take the blue ocean theory versus I mean, it's like we have an honest and appreciation. We almost elevate it to a level of stardom, right? But then we're scared to death sitting here and basically watching it happen. It's really a very fascinating take on human nature.
Yeah.
It's like we have this desire to aspire, but then something holds us back.
And I think you guys underestimate. We've talked. I don't want to delve into the political discussion here, but
Does he do this on your show?
he doesn't let me talk, so I just shut up all the time. I think you
How do you do
underestimate.
that?
We put some. I grew up in the Midwest, the same area that's suffering, because it wants to bring things back to the way it was for 20, 30 years, factories and mines and mills and all this stuff. And it ain't coming back. And if it does, it's going to be robots coming back. And I tell my friends and family back there, move, change, adapt. And they're like, no, but we've been doing this for generations. And my wife and I went back to some family function a couple of years ago and met some, I don't know, friend of the family here, a guy about my age. He's doing what his grandfather did and what his father did. He's working for the railroads. He hates it. Hated his whole life, but felt he had no choice. That's just what you do. Mm-hmm. Or I have relatives that worked at the factories because their father worked in the factories, their grandfather worked in the factories, or the mills, or whatever. And he looked at me and he said, "You're so lucky to live in California." And I said, "Well, why? Everybody here thinks I'm nuts." You know,
so everybody's telling you to leave right now, right?
Yeah, to come back.
All I hear is people
all they want to talk
leave,
about
go to
is
Boise.
Yeah, they all want to come back. Okay, you've
I'm
had
like,
your crazy adventure.
We finally took care of our population problem. Right? Everybody's leaving. Awesome. Yeah. Beaches are empty now.
And he said this,
right?
and I never forgot it. He said, "I said, well, what's the difference here or there?" He said, "I've never been to California, but my perception is you can try anything you want to do." And he said, "Here, I'd be laughed at. If I went and told my wife, my friends, my family, I want to quit a good-paying job at the railroad like that my father got me, that his father got me, they think I was nuts. There isn't a social acceptance to take that kind of risk. Why?"
So let me ask the room, because all three of us, I would say, are pursuing our own voice.
Very much
right? So. In different fields. Do we believe that would be something that would be different were we not to be doing it in California? Is there something to be said about
if you lived in Alabama or Michigan like I did? Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. So my disadvantage of that question is California's the only place I've ever lived.
Yeah.
So
right.
I couldn't.
Would you? Okay.
I have maybe an intuition, but I couldn't answer for sure.
Well, fine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why he's good at what he does, right? He just basically gauged the whole answer right there. No, seriously, Bart. I mean, let me ask it in a different way. Yeah. Would you consider doing this somewhere else? Would you consider not being in California?
No.
Okay.
Cash in and go to Idaho or something. Or
why?
Yeah. So I have traveled the country.
Yeah.
I've traveled the world.
Sure you have, yeah.
And they're now just 'cause to me it's personal. It's not so much business as personal.
Yeah, no, I'm asking you that.
Yeah. Southern California has everything that I would ever want, from a climate to real estate to I'll call it culture. What I'm talking about is like restaurants and things to do. Other parts of the country would say we don't have culture here, but and we spend time. I think you're aware. So my wife has family in Tahiti. We spend a couple months there a year, and it's one of the most beautiful places on the planet. But I couldn't live there. It just doesn't have the other stuff that I need.
Okay, well, I think, you know what, we're almost at the break. I'm going to take a break, because when we come back, we're going to talk about all this other stuff that Bart needs.
And
we're going to pop some
champagne. And we're going to do that when we come back, right? Yeah, if anybody's watching.
Imagine what it would feel like to lose everything: your job, your home, your family, your dignity. This has happened to thousands of the men, women, veterans, and young adults we serve at Working Wardrobes. What do we do to help? We provide career development services, life skills workshops, job skills training. We provide the perfect interview outfit, and we get clients placed in jobs. Call Working Wardrobes, 714-210-2460. Donate, volunteer, invest, hire.
When it comes to pioneers in their respective industries, we all know the Apples, Starbucks, and Trader Joe's of the world. In the realm of recruiting, Decision Toolbox is the industry's best-kept secret, with 90% of their business from referrals and repeat customers. For over 20 years, Decision Toolbox's U.S.-based team of recruiters, sourcers, professional writers, quality personnel, and tech support has perfected a Six Sigma approach to talent management. No matter the size of the project, Decision Toolbox delivers incredible results. A cost per hire less than half of what contingency firms charge, with the winning candidate presented in an average of 14 days, all with a 12-month candidate warranty. With results like that, Decision Toolbox won't be a secret for long. Visit us at www.dtoolbox.com for more information.
All right, we're having a debate offline here. We're back with Rod and his
Yeah,
guest
you
here.
know, Paul was like trying to convince, and I agree with Bart. We were talking about this thing about, is it limited to California? Well, anybody?
Is there something in the air? I'll give you proof of my statement. Years ago, I grew up obviously in the auto industry. My dad was an executive. Most of my friends' fathers worked for the car business, and my other relatives on the other side all worked in the factory side of it. So I saw it from both sides. Many years ago, Ford moved their whole design studios out here. Mm-hmm. Most of the car companies have moved their design studios out here. And everybody roared and said, well, what, we can't be creative in Detroit? No.
you know what? Okay, but I will tell you
they wanted to something in the water, something in the air, something in the attitude.
But when I was starting my career in interior design, and I wanted to work for some of the larger firms for hotel design,
right,
they actually believed there was no talent in Orange County.
Mm. Wow, really?
They actually believed, and they set up offices to where they had to be New York, L.A., Chicago, right? Yes. There is a biasness, and it's really very funny because if you really think about where did Mazda set up their design studio?
Right here.
Orange County.
They're all the car companies are in Orange
where did
County
Oculus
somewhere.
come out of? Right here,
Orange County.
Right? Where does all the Botox and the pharmaceuticals and allergen and all the R&D on medical all came out of Orange County?
Blizzard, the World of Warcraft.
And the irony is the company that I ended up working with before I went out on my own, WAT&G, Wimberley, Allison, Tongan, that actually has moved now and is in the Spectrum, used to be in the Back Bay in black glass buildings overlooking the Back Bay in Newport Beach, right off Irvine, right?
Yeah.
And people would come to us on Friday in order to have meetings. We had more meetings on Friday than during the rest of the week because they brought family or whatever, whoever, whoever that person was.
Business trip,
right? And they would basically spend the time in Orange County for the weekend, right? So it was very funny because we were the only company that of that level that was in Orange County. Everybody was in L.A., and when we set up the design office, the head of design, God rest his soul, David Weisberg, actually was in Playa del Rey, and he insisted on setting it up in Marina del Rey.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? You set it up in Marina del Rey, but you need some lobbyists in Congress down here at the main office, so I'll just hang out over here, right?
Yeah.
I had a 30-minute ride. I did not want to basically deal with it. So there is the misconception, I think, and we kind of fell into it a little bit before the break, about it only is limited to California, the sense of adventure, taking risks, whatever. I don't think that's necessarily case. I think historically and maybe mystically, California has this aura of being the land of opportunity and
imagination.
Go West, young man, and kind of strike your fortune. But I actually believe there are different places that actually also have that. The interesting thing about California, for me, is like you. I can't, and I've traveled, and I've lived at different places. Paul gives me grief about it every time I mention it.
School in Switzerland.
Yeah, okay, all right. But I will tell you, yes, granted, there's family. My folks are 6 miles away from me. My sister and her family are 3 miles away from me, which is a big part of what I need in my life to feel fulfilled. But there's something about California where I can basically enjoy a mountain environment. I can be in the water. I can go down to Mexico and Baja. I can go up to Northern California, totally different experience. Central Coast, totally different experience.
You can be on OC Talk Radio.
I can, some fool basically can give me an opportunity to do a radio show, right? But I think California has a lot to offer, and it fits me, right? And with that, I will say this, because the person who's sponsoring this show that we do.
Oh, fits me. See how he worked into that? Learn from the master here, Bart. I'm just telling you how he works that right in here.
It's masterful.
Dave Welsh at Bespoke. BespokeStyle.com is the website. And they gave me something that we're basically working into this ad, but the top, bold, in his brand color orange that I'm trying to friggin' match so I can put it on a barber chair, by the way. Right?
Nice.
Okay. Well, and it's your style defines you. And your style is not just limited to your clothes. It's what you choose to basically engage in. It's the stuff that's of interest to you. You have a lot of different interests other than just being a financial planner.
So before you dive into his other interests, I have to ask you guys this because I'm the old man in the room here. I'm old enough to remember the Rat Pack era. My father grew up in the Rat Pack era, and he was a stylish man. He dressed like you guys. He had custom tailored suits. and he just really was into this
So
stuff.
what happened, Paul?
And I grew up in an era, really, it's
Skip a
true.
generation.
I grew up skipped a generation. I grew up when I was cool in high school. It was cool to wear ripped blue jeans, old army jackets. It was the anti-style era.
Well, there's
and
an
my
image
style
I can't
was
get out of my head now.
my style was defined in high school and college. I still dress like I'm still in high school and college: sweatshirts, shorts, cargo pants, whatever. That's kind of been my style for my whole life since then. And I am amazed that how style has returned, even in surfwear conscious Orange County that is so casual, where you have bespoke clothing, you have people dressing up and looking sharper. Now, my son-in-law, he's like you guys, goes to a custom barber, works in a bank. He's just very, very stylish of everything he does, his grooming habits and everything. How and why did this come
Okay,
back?
well, it's perfect because we asked that to Brandon, right?
Right.
So what makes you, I mean, I understand the professional side of it, right? But it's not just professional attire for you. This is part of who you are. Down dressed or fully three-piece, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We won't even go down. Did you hear the show where Brandon was talking about the three-button down?
No, I didn't.
He's moving to. He's got open three buttons
the pictorial ridge. Right, no.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
when you want to laugh, you just watch
Yeah.
it. Brandon, you made fashion history right on the show. But why do you do that? Why do you do it for you? What does it mean?
Yeah, so when you talk about dressing for my career, or style.
Style, yeah.
Most
You
people,
guys both dress beyond just wearing sharp clothes. You have a style about you and a conscious style about you, and it shows, and it's an important part of who you both are, I feel like.
Yeah, because to your point, it's more than dress. Most people, when they meet me in a different circumstance, they are very surprised that I'm a financial advisor, because even though I may dress in a suit, I don't really probably look like one.
Right.
But again, we go back to style. To part, I think it's innate, right? I even as a young child.
Have you always kind of had a sense of that?
Yeah. So this is a little embarrassing, but I'll tell you what kind of like put me over.
We like those.
Yeah.
Here we go. Because no one's listening, right? So
Oh,
no, I'm just talking about this because I'm the guest. It's not the middle of your show.
everybody's listening.
Yeah. So
I'll make sure they are.
in college, what was the name? The show with Linda Evans and
A Dynasty.
Dynasty.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember just being so enamored.
Blake Carrington?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so enamored with like the suits the guys were wearing. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, and if that didn't get you, then Heart to Heart with Robert Wagner got you, right?
Yeah. So that kind of was my first.
So were your parents stylish? Were your friends stylish? Were you the cool dressed kid in high school?
So high school, I had a style, but I had very long hair, flip. I was a surf guy, right? So I had the surf style back then.
Right.
Matter of fact, kind of with my trademark was I wore my flip flops every day of the year. Doesn't matter the weather, even to dances. The suit and the flip flops.
Yeah, that's California. Now that's right.
Style.
That's California.
But
style.
my parents are European. My dad was a truck driver. My mom was a stay-at-home, so he didn't have much occasion to dress up.
Mm-hmm.
But when it came time, he was
There was
very
a sense of
he cared about his style, and so there's probably some of that in kind of the European background as well.
yeah.
But it is a little bit exponential or snowballish, right?
Yeah.
So I started that, and then one thing led to another, and when I got my first like real job, like out of college, the computer job, like I can get my suit, and then that suit's pretty nice, and I met Dave. Not long after I got on my career, so 23, 24 years ago, and that just...
What was the first garment that you got from Dave?
Yeah, so he's really good, in his...
yeah.
So...
What was the entry drug?
Yeah.
The entry drug. It is a drug for you guys.
So it was 2 suits, 3-piece, in which I've continued that whole theme for both the way I like the way it looks, but the functionality. So it was a houndstooth suit and a black suit. And his... I'll call it his pitch. It was consulting, but or pitch, however you want to call it. So look, you can wear the houndstooth slacks and houndstooth vest and wear the black jacket, or wear the houndstooth pants, black vest, black jacket, and mix it up. He goes, you've got like 15, 16 outfits here, and I'm like,
I like that.
I got it. And that was the first bit of drug. That was the entry level.
And I'm such an anti-stylist, I don't even know what houndstooth is.
Oh, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, all right, you got to go back to this. I got to crawl first.
I'm going to have to do visuals for you on this.
Yeah,
section.
you'd have
Yeah,
to.
I'm going to have to bring
Put a
you
picture up on your when you
classics.
post this, because I really don't know what. I'm
Think
going to
of-
have to go look it up.
Think of black and white
pattern.
pattern. We'll call it a pattern, not checks, but a pattern.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's a particular pattern.
Yeah.
So somehow you graduated from the typical
It's
Southern
actually,
California.
it's actually a classic pattern.
Yeah.
And when mixed with the black, to Dave's point and
Yeah.
to Bart's point, is you can mix it up. You could dress it down with jeans. You could dress it up. You could, all
Yeah.
kinds of combinations.
So
And I
you made the transition from traditional Southern California surfwear to style to the what I picture is
Well, I
the
think
Rat Pack kind of look.
I think
here.
still style. It just evolved, right? So I had my
adult style.
adult style, but I still had my my weekend style was still jeans, and I typically my wife calls it accessories. She goes, can you tone down the accessories just a bit?
No, one of the first things when I first met him, one of the first things that I really liked was the fact that yes, we were sitting there and we're looking at high end fashion and we're so very specifically fabric weights and all this stuff. But here's this guy basically. He's got his little church boots on. He's got his jeans on. He's as comfortable as that as in a 3-piece. And it's I get it. I mean that's you that's not you can't put it on. That's either part of you or not. In fact,
Yeah.
if you put it on and it's not part of you, it shows. And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what the value of the
It's a
clothes that
good
you're
point. I
wearing.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I
with
mean, it's
that.
like for you, Paul. I mean, I'll give you a little boost here, right?
Okay.
If I walked in here and I did not see you wearing that or cargo pants, I would I would.
That's
you
my
would
look.
You would
It's
look
my
kind of
style.
odd.
Yeah.
You just look comfortable.
One
in
of
your
these days,
skin.
I'm going to shock both of you. I'll go just dress up and see what happens here. my late father would be smiling from heaven somewhere.
But in case, since I do need to do the rest of this ad,
Yeah.
but in case your style defines you not well, you might want to call up Dave Welch and his crew at BespokeStyle.com.
Bespoke meaning custom in,
And it's
in the
B,
old English term. Yeah.
B, the letter B, and then spoke. There's no E between the S and the B. Because bespoke is custom, but it's spelled
A
B-E-S.
custom version of bespoke.
And
yeah.
they want to partner with you to create, I don't know about you, Paul, but they want to partner with people to create a wardrobe that's reflective of who you are and how you live your life. See, this is what we were just talking about.
I need a fashion intervention.
Fashion
That's
is
what I-
not about what you wear, but how you wear it, and most importantly, why you wear it.
why you wear it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And I think that's what I get a sense from both of you. You don't wear it. It isn't to say, look at me. Well, it isn't to so how others feel about it. It's how you feel in it. So how you respond. to it.
I think so. I mean, I know. For me, I make those selections based on how I feel.
Yeah.
And there are times when I know exactly what I'm going to wear the following day, and there are times when I just wake up and it's like, yeah, no, I'm going to do that,
Yeah.
right? And I've got stuff that I've got classic Boss jackets from 1985 that I still have, and I wear them, and they're
Yeah.
like as comfortable as a blanket.
Yeah.
And I've got hoodies that are about as comfortable, and there's certain days where those are going to be what's going to make it, right? So it is very much that case. But to that point about defining yourself or defining your style, there's a lot of stuff that you are involved in. There's a lot of stuff that you pursue as interests, right?
Yeah, correct.
So what are some of them? And especially, I'm trying to lean you towards this.
Yeah, can we? I'm salivating here.
Let's do it,
Can
yeah.
we do this?
I don't know
Let's
why
do
you're
it.
holding up.
All
I'm
right,
not going to
let's
reach
do it.
and grab your own bottle. You do this.
So, yeah, certainly.
And what is it that we are basically?
For those who are watching,
Yeah.
this is a Louis Roederer. If you say that 5 times fast, I'm
Louis
sure.
Roederer.
Roederer. Before or after you've had some.
Does it get a little harder?
It gets harder.
You drink.
So this is a sparkling wine. What's significant about this is it is the same winemakers as Cristal in the region of Champagne. So there it is called Champagne, of course.
Correct.
Here it's sparkling wine.
Yep.
This is a Blanc de Blanc. The Rod, what is the primary grapes in sparkling wine or champagne? So it's Chardonnay and Pinot Noir.
That's why you're here.
Because if we haven't
No, but I
identified
like
it-
that radio
Yeah.
host kind of approach right there. He poses the question, and
because we
because I
haven't
knew
po-
the answer.
Because if we haven't, if
it's
you
the
haven't
only
tuned
kind of
into-
questions you should ask. These
These
are the
guys
ones
will-
that you know.
Nobody
the
will let me
answers.
talk. If you haven't tuned into Bart's show, you will also know that one of the things when he decides he's going to take on something, he doesn't do it halfway. He got into wine, and he said, "I'm going to go through the certified sommelier program."
Shh, Paul.
Love that sound.
Well, I failed a little bit because there was a little bit of sound. In order to pass my sommelier exam, I opened it successfully with no sound.
sound.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Did they make you do that? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was part of my exam.
So what made you go to that level of appreciation for wine?
OCD disorder. Yeah, my interest in wine turned into hobby, turned into passion, turned into obsession to a point where, hey, I'm this far in my education and training. If I go just this much further, I can be a certified sommelier. How cool would that be?
And how few of those are there in the whole country?
So I'm a level 2, which is called a certified sommelier. There's probably a few thousand.
A few thousand out of 300 million. Yeah, exactly. Right.
The next levels up is where it really narrows down. We talked about a master sommelier. There's 200 in the entire world.
Yes, right.
And those were a couple of my teachers and graders of the exam.
Do you have desire to go that far, or have you reached a plateau?
So my desire and my wife's desire really don't seem to be congruent. So when I passed the test, and the pass rate is like 15%, especially for the first time.
Because it's ridiculous. They literally pour blind taste wine for you, and you have to tell the region and the year and the. Oh my goodness.
Reach in. So what are we toasting, gentlemen?
We're toasting the success of the successful lives you guys have carved out here.
I do want to taste your show.
Okay.
Congrats
Thank
on
you.
doing it. I look forward to seeing more episodes.
Oh my
Awesome.
goodness!
Thank you
that's
so
wonderful.
much.
For sure.
Appreciate that.
You know what's impressive to me about this? I know a little bit about wine. Is the aroma that took over the room the minute you opened the bottle.
Very nice.
So let me finish up on the bottle, and I'll finish up kind of on the process. So a Blanc de Blanc, most of you probably know that Blanc means white.
Yeah.
So that means there's only Chardonnay grapes, no Pinot Noir. In a normal champagne or sparkling wine, even though it's white normally, once you get a rosé version, it's just because they took the skin off the Pinot Noir grapes early enough, so it's still white. But those are the two primary grapes. This is what makes this even a better sparkling. Is it's a vintage 2010. Most champagnes will mix vintages,
blend, right?
but when it's identified as a vintage, that makes it a higher quality or higher level. So overall, this is pretty amazing.
It's a pretty amazing drink.
Just give us an idea. Everybody can drool. What's a bottle usually go for?
So retail 140-ish.
Bart, we love you.
But for anybody who is actually as an appreciation for this, I will tell you, it tastes a lot more than $140 bottle of wine.
And analyze this. So
Not that. And is price usually an indicator?
Not always, but sometimes.
So it happens all the time, and I do go to those all the time or attend them. Blind tasting, right? You get a bunch of guys, and they put them in a brown bag. Ultimately, the ones that win are the lesser expensive ones. You'd have to have a pretty discerning taste to recognize and acknowledge some of the complexities and appreciate the more value.
So what are some of the ones that you like right now? Let me ask you: do you have an appreciation, depending on circumstance and what you're enjoying it or pairing it with, to whether it's white or red, or do you have an affinity to one or versus the other?
Those are my favorite questions. So it kind of depends on the day, the time, the climate, where I'm at. Am I in Tahiti? Am I here?
Mood, emotion, environment.
Yeah, exactly. But overall, bubbles, as it's commonly referred to in our world, is probably my favorite. That's a real strong go-to. And actually the easiest to pair with. I have gone to meals where it's just different sparklings or champagnes throughout the whole meal.
I've never heard that. I didn't know, because you typically think whites are lighter and reds are heavier.
Did you know that there are champagne in India?
No. Champagne in India?
Yeah. I tried champagne from India when I was in Mauritius in '98.
So there's...
See how he works in these world travels like that? He just always does that.
Probably surprisingly, there is... wines made not only throughout the United States, almost in every state in our union, but throughout the world. And part of the difficulties of passing the exam is, even though there is a finite number of questions, it could be on any wine anywhere in the world. So you pretty much have to know it in order to.
I remember being in Virginia.
Virginia has some good wines. Yeah, they actually do.
New York.
Went out. There was a project.
Ice wines in Upper New York.
Salamander Inn in Virginia, which is an interesting story behind the name. The name is derived from the secret name or the agent name for a gentleman that was involved in World War II and had bought a piece of property, and then the property got purchased by the lady, Sheila Johnson, who used to be married to the guy that owned the BET.
Oh, gotcha.
And then they turned it into this inn, and it was very high exclusive. And Middleville, I think, or it's right outside of what they lovingly call Mink and Manure Country in Virginia, where the horse ranches are. But there were wineries there, and I remember trying to even get wine to be shipped to me, and I could not ship it from Virginia to California, and so I had to basically have my aunt, who at the time was not working for the FDA, so I can actually say this, to try to somehow finagle some sort of label on the thing so I can actually get bottles of wine sent from Virginia. But you're right. I mean, there are places where you would never think that there would actually be that.
Yeah, there's certain areas that they'll just consume it all, and there's not enough production. And others where the laws, and I don't have them all memorized, but some of the states are really, really picky.
Rigid. Yeah.
And so you can't ship to. Like, I think Utah's a state where you cannot ship to.
Yeah.
Texas has a big wine.
Well, in places like California that has its own production, then there's also kind of limitations to what can come in without you being licensed.
So break
importer.
this wine down for us. Give us some of the snobby wine ways that you would
I still have a
this
question on the table he's kind of avoiding.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are your favorites?
So bubbles is always a go-to.
Yeah.
If it's warm outside and it's daytime, right? I'll either go white or and I'm very comfortable with my masculinity to say I like rosé.
Really?
Yeah.
Boy, that's not one that most men would acknowledge, and most wine snobs.
A good rosé is actually pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
So I take difference with that. So the wine snobs these days are looking at rosés more seriously.
Okay.
Back in the quote unquote old days, they were sweet. Or California had their Sutter Home version.
The green Mateus bottle.
Yeah, Sutter Home. That's what I consumed.
But they've gone,
Homes,
like the south of France, Languedoc, other areas of south of France, which is Grenache based. The ones from California might be Pinot Noir based. And I was just at a wine festival in San Ynez, Los Olivos area, and our kind of saying for the day was rosé all day. So that's, with a slightly lower alcohol level, you can.
And are some of the other lesser-known grapes ever gaining ground? The Syrah, the Mourvedre, the what's the other one they use as a blending one all the time in the red?
So
some of those
could be Petit Syrah, could be Merlot sometimes.
Really nice.
So.
Some of these wines you don't normally hear.
Do you like any of the blends?
Oh yeah, actually, if I'm doing red, I'd prefer a blend over a pure Cabernet. Cabernet for me personally, and everyone has their own taste. It's a little heavy. I'll have one if I'm having a nice steak. If I'm at Mastro's or Morton's, I can do it. But just to sit and drink, I'd rather I do a Pinot Noir or I'll do a Right Bank Bordeaux, which is more Merlot based.
I like a Petit Syrah for that versus a Cab, but I do like a Cab with something substantial.
Now, some of those California has kind of defined. I'm going to give you a little bit of wine knowledge here that I accumulated. California sort of defined what a Chardonnay should taste like in California, maybe a little more buttery or with the malolactic acid and stuff. And they've kind of defined what a Cabernet is. I have yet to see what a Petit Syrah is, or a Pinot Noir. They're all over those. Some of them can be heavier, some of them can be lighter.
Consilance, Central Valley, beautiful Syrah.
Okay.
So
what's the name of that one?
Consilance. Oh, it's actually I accidentally came across it in a little place in Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
And it is definitely one of my favorites. You can have it with a meal. You can eat.
So it's the winemakers from Fess Parker.
That's the actually their tasting room is like right across from in Los Olivos. Yeah.
Because my wife and I went about a year ago to a tasting up at UCLA.
So I'm going to blow his mind.
Pinot
Fess
Noir.
Parker's daughter went to the school I went to.
Oh my goodness! Did she wear a coonskin cap? No, probably not. And
really,
I had to go there.
She had her own style.
And so we went to a Pinot Noir tasting up at UCLA at some place there. I think it was the Skirball Center up there. And they had hundreds and hundreds of Pinot Noirs. And some of there wasn't one style. They were all over the board. Some of them were light, some of them were heavier. Some of them I like, some it wasn't like you go taste a Cabernet tasting. To me, they all kind of taste the same thing.
Yeah. So Pinot Noir, which is my go-to, and its origination is from Burgundy, France, and that would be my.
What's your favorite?
So anything from Washington or Oregon,
right.
Primarily because of where I was headed is Pinot Noir, very driven by the environment,
weather,
and extreme difference in night and day weather, and it's cooler up in Oregon. So, and that's the heavier one.
So am I correct that there is a wide that style has yet to be sort of defined and somehow they sort of figured out what a Cabernet should taste like, and most people tend to try and mimic that, if that makes sense.
So I think it's more driven, not that they're trying to mimic, but that it's just driven by where the grapes are from, and that's what you got.
Right.
Yeah, so you do
So
with what you have.
for a cab, French, Californian, what's your favorite?
Yeah, so my taste buds have been primarily California, and I've been working on expanding.
Yeah.
So for Pinot Noirs, it's France.
Yeah.
For Cab, I would probably also go France, because on Bordeaux they blend. And here, usually if you buy a Cabernet, it's like, here's a Cabernet.
Yeah.
If you get Bordeaux, which is primarily Cab, is going to be blended with, could be a little Mourvedre, Merlot. And left bank is going to be much higher in Cabernet.
Yeah.
Right bank is going to be higher Merlot, which is the side that I would go for.
Yeah, I find, and it's not because when I first started drinking at a legal age, I was actually in Switzerland, but I really find myself leaning towards that. In fact, I'll share a funny story.
We only got like 1 minute left.
I'll share a really funny story. And by the way, before I do though, check out the current issue of Nobleman Magazine. What's the website?
NoblemanMagazine.com.
Yeah, and you can find out a lot more about wine and Bart and that side of his style, right? And it's definitely worth the read. I read it today. I'm 16 years old. I'm in college in Switzerland. I'm on the side of the mountain, stuck on the side of the mountain. There's one good restaurant there, and I somehow connect with this Argentinian waiter that works there, right? This you'll like, and I have a wine, a red wine, with a bunch of friends, and we're like behind this fireplace, and I can't remember whether it was the heat from the fireplace or the quality of the wine or whatever, but and it was in the classic Cabernet glasses that are open, right?
Yeah.
And I loved the wine, and I start buying the wine from the side door of this restaurant from the Argentinian waiter, probably totally illegal, right?
Yeah.
And he's selling it to me for, I think it was like at the time, it's like 1985.
And you're 16?
50 Swiss francs, right? Or 25 Swiss francs. 25 Swiss francs, right? For a bottle of this wine, right? And I got this pizzeria and I'm living in the dorms, and I got this pizzeria that makes flat crust pizza.
Oh, nice.
And I'm grabbing a flat crust pizza, grabbing a bottle of this wine, hanging out at the college, drinking my wine with friends, and basically eating this pizza, right? And then I graduate, and then I come to California, and I'm in Claremont graduate school, and I'm looking, and there's this singing Italian waiter, singing Italian restaurant owner at the end of the 210 when it becomes Foothill.
Okay.
Right before it continued all the way through, right?
Yeah.
And you go in there, and he's singing in the kitchen and all this stuff, but he makes thin crust pizza, right? So I grab a thin crust pizza, and I start looking for this wine that I basically enjoy in the Switzerland, right? Only to find out that I was actually enjoying Saint-Emilion Grand Cru 1985 at $25 a bottle from the side door of the friggin' cafe.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, for those who don't know, that's a very nice wine and a very expensive wine.
Suffice it to say, I switched my wine consumption to California.
Yeah.
But
at 16, I was drinking Mad Dog. So anyway, my friends and I were sneaking out in the back and drinking Mad Dog.
And I think
Thunderbird.
I think that is the perfect way to explain that you got to define your own style, because in the case of Paul, that's his style. Bart, thanks for being here.
Hey, my pleasure. It's
Yeah,
a
it
lot
was
of
fun. Yeah,
We'll do
I
this
enjoyed
again.
it. Yeah, we'll do for
We'll have
sure.
you on my show soon
I'd
too.
love to, and I do want to talk about that stuff when we do that,
Yeah.
because I think it's a critical thing for a lot of people that we know,
Yeah.
and parents and so forth in Orange County. But I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I appreciate you bringing the drink.
Oh my God,
course.
wonderful
Thanks, my
wine.
friend.
Every-
Hey.
You have been listening to the Raad Life Radio Show with your host and age explorer, Rad Gantos, brought to you on the one and only OCTalkRadio.net. Join us again next week as we continue our journey of discovery into life's challenges, opportunities, options, and all the latest and greatest things that come with getting older.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Lori London. Mike Pompeo is settling into his new role as the nation's top diplomat, replacing embattled former Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. As NPR's Sarah McCammon reports, Pompeo is promising to bring pride and what he calls swagger back to the agency.
At a swearing-in ceremony at the State Department, President Trump said he has absolute confidence in Mike Pompeo. Trump praised the mood in the room, saying, quote, "That's more spirit than I've heard from the State Department in a long time." After taking the oath, Pompeo described his vision for the agency.
I want the State Department to get its swagger back. We need our men and women out at the front lines executing